Greg started probably almost 5 years ago now, noticing some weakening in his hands and a little trouble breathing. It was almost a year before we received the diagnosis of ALS. And the wonderful thing about that disease is they're extremely honest with you. When they give you the diagnosis, they tell you today is the best day of the rest of your life. Every day it's going to get worse, and you're going to get weaker and weaker. It's been an amazing ride, because as he's continued to get weaker and weaker, we found you in December, and at that point he was in a state where he could not move any of his extremities, no hands, no fingers, no arms.
Trouble holding my head up.
Yes, and he had trouble holding his head up. Within 5 days, there was strength in the neck. Within a week and a half, we noticed movement in the fingers. In January, about the 10th, we started noticing movement in his feet, which we haven't seen any of that since probably August. In the beginning, we noticed trouble breathing. He went snorkeling and had trouble in the ocean. Didn't seem to have enough strength to breathe. Then he was always extremely active and very fit. So all of a sudden one morning he couldn't open the peanut butter jar. And little things like that just were out of character for him. Then it got worse. We went to a number of different doctors, and it was me who finally said, I think this is what it is, just with what's going on. I don't know why the doctors aren't telling us. So we ended up having to leave Canada and go down to the States for diagnosis, because here they wouldn't even run tests on him. So we went down to the States, and within a month we had the diagnosis.
Once we had the diagnosis from the American side, then they started listening to us up here.
And then that's what I said. We changed diet. We've been proactive in fighting it as much as we could. We got to a place last November where the breathing tests had come back at under 30% lung capacity and those kind of things. They told us to prepare. He was in his last 3 months of life. So all the way through here, we've been diligent in exercising the body as much as we can, range of motion and those kind of things.
And the ALS Society is trying to discourage me from exercising, because they're telling me that as long as I'm exercising, I'm just going to wear those muscles out quicker.
Seeing him being able to just hold his head up off the pillow was amazing. He had gotten to a place where we actually used mechanical devices to move him from place to place. And when you put him into bed at night, you had to cradle his head like a baby again, because the neck wasn't able to support the weight of the head. The first night that after I put him to bed, he lifted his head off the pillow and came to get the water from me. It brought tears to my eyes, because he had probably been a month losing those muscles. And once we lost those muscles, then that stops us from going out and being part of the community and being with the grandchildren and those kind of things. Now that he can hold his head up again, we're free of the prison of the house. We're free of the prison of having to have things around us continuously just to hold him up straight.
Still going to my grandson's hockey game.
Yes, to be able to get out and do those kind of things, to enjoy the life, because each of us are going to die. And until that point, we want to absolutely enjoy life. And that means being with our family. That means doing things with the grandchildren. And as we lost the strength, you lose your ability to do those kind of things. Yes. So as each step, as we've been able to be able to see him take his hand and flip it from palm up to palm down, it's amazing. Because again, you don't realize how much you value just that until you don't have it. And in the last year and a half, he lost all of that ability. And to not just have the faith ourselves, but to see our children and our grandchildren have the faith. Our son comes in probably once a week, and the first thing he asks is, "Dad, can you scratch your nose yet?" because he knows that there's a day coming when Greg's going to be able to lift that hand up again and touch his face. It's been a journey, and to watch my husband, who's helped everyone his entire life, to go to someone who needed help was a very humbling experience for him. It was, again, something that God's grace took him through and showed him how to be on the receiving end of that kind of help. But it's been wonderful to see how the community has not only been with us through all this, but is noticing the changes. As we go to hockey games, different ones are saying, he can move his hand again. Did you see that? He moved his hand. So it's not just me who's noticing these kind of things. Our home care workers, as they come in to do exercises, they're noticing he moved his foot today. He's able to resist me. He wasn't able to do any of those kind of things over the last few months.
In the last month here, I'm dreaming about stepping up and walking again. That's what I dream about at night. I dream about walking out of that chair and doing things with my family like I used to. That's what I dream about. So I'm excited. Really looking forward to it, Daryl.
I think for us right now, as a couple and as a family, we had come to a place where we had resigned ourselves to the fact that the end was very close. We have an older vehicle right now that we figured would get us through. We're looking at buying a different van to transport him with, because he wants to get going again. And as a family, we're willing to.
I'm really excited about moving forward.